Welcome to the RavensSpace on YouTube. My name is Jason, and this is RavensSpace Daily, where we talk about Baltimore Ravens news every single weekday. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. This is the first episode of the week, and we have 3 great news stories for you guys and a mailbag question. We're going to hop right in, but first I want to say please subscribe to the RavensSpace on YouTube. We have the greatest Baltimore Raven content on the internet, so please check it out. Also, I would say please check out our Patreon page, and a special shout out to our Patreon subscribers, because without you guys, none of this is possible. Now we're going to hop right into the first story of the day. And the first story talks about CJ Mosley and a comparison to one of the greatest middle linebackers of all time. Ryan Shazier, who's a linebacker for the Steelers, compared CJ Mosley to Ray Lewis. It's high praise for CJ. And to be honest, it's not that far off from being well deserved. In my opinion, CJ Mosley is the best young defensive player in the league other than Aaron Donald. I really do think that CJ Mosley has the skills to pay the bills. Now, one of the reasons that Ryan Shazier compared CJ to Ray Lewis is because his ability to lead the defense. At middle linebacker, you have to be able to do so many things. You have to be able to blitz. You have to be able to play the run. You have to be able to drop back in coverage. And CJ Mosley is proficient in all of these things. He is one of the best, play callers or getting people in position that I've seen from a young player. He's just amazing. He's one of my favorite Baltimore Ravens players. If you guys can look, we have a top 5 CJ Mosley plays. He's an awesome player. And again, you should check it out. He's one of my favorite players, and he's been one of my favorite players since the very beginning of his career. I think that he will grow and become one of the best players in the league. And one of my predictions this year, I even said that he was going to be the defensive player of the year. I really think he's strong, and in my opinion, he's one of the best defensive pieces in the league, and you can plug him in any defense and he will perform. I agree with Ryan Shazier. Can't say that a lot, but in this case I do. I think CJ Mosley is one of the great young players in the game today. And let me know if you think CJ Mosley is as great as I think he is, or as Ryan Shazier thinks he is. Let me know in the comments below. And if you think there's a younger player or a young player that's better than him, let me know. Like I said, my number 1 is Aaron Donald, but number 2 I have CJ Mosley. He's a great player. The next story is about the most scrutinized players for each team. And it's going to be the player who is going to be scrutinized the most in this upcoming season. And for the Baltimore Ravens, that player was Brandon Williams. What this tells me is that they get it, the Bleacher Report gets it, because I get it too, and I think it's going to be true. Brandon Williams is going to be scrutinized because he got the money, and that's just the biggest thing. And to be honest, last year was not a great season for Brandon. It was one of his lowest Pro Football Focus seasons. It's just that the year before, when the Ravens were bad, he was a constant presence in the run stop. This year, he got pushed around sometimes, and he was terrible in pass rush situations. Now, he's never been a great pass rusher, but last year, you had a rookie, Michael Pierce, come on in pass rushing situations and perform better than he did. It's just that we need Brandon Williams to be great, especially to contain Le'Veon Bell. And if that doesn't happen, Le'Veon Bell will run crazy on us. You have Joe Mixon for the Bengals that's going to be crazy. We have to be able to stop the run, and Brandon Williams is the biggest piece to do that, and he will be the most scrutinized player. I was thinking that, we need to watch some players, a players to watch list. Brandon Williams should be on there because we have to make sure he lives up to that contract and is a dominant 3-4 defensive tackle. And do you guys agree? Let me know if you think that we should scrutinize other players more than Brandon Williams. In my opinion, it's either Brandon Williams or Perryman. Brashard Perryman, those are the 2 players that you have to look at the most and make sure to see if they perform. And moving on to the third story of the day, it comes again from the Bleacher Report, and it regrades the NFL 2016 free agency. So what this means is that they go through the biggest names of last year's free agency. So not this year where we got Tony Jefferson, but last year when we got Eric Weddle. And it talks about which players performed the best and what are their grades. So for the Baltimore Ravens, they talked about Eric Weddle, and for Eric Weddle, they gave him a B+. A story of a Baltimore Raven defying the test of time. Again, time is undefeated, but again, Eric Weddle is an older player, but he's still performing well. He's currently entering his 32nd year of life, and he's just, staying physical. Last year, I didn't see a safety that played on all sides of the ball more than Eric Weddle, except for maybe Tony Jefferson and Eric Berry. And when you look at the contract that Ozzie Newsome got him for, it was a steal. Weddle has a 4-year contract, averaging $6.5 million a year, and it makes him the 13th highest paid safety in the league when last year he performed as the #1 safety. That's getting bang for your buck, and so it's a good job for Ozzie. Eric Weddle fits perfectly for the Ravens, and now him and Tony Jefferson together, I think this is a great match in heaven. I would have gave this an A. I think Eric Weddle has been an awesome fit for the Baltimore Ravens. And like we do at the end of every single RavensSpace Daily, we have a question from the RavensSpace Mailbag. If you guys don't know as well, we also have RavensSpace Mailbag shows where the whole show is me asking questions. It came out early today and it comes out every single Monday, so check it out. But for this question, it comes from Robert, and Robert asks, do you think Taquan Mizzell will become a great running back? Thank you so much for your question, Rob. Now, a great running back is hard. Again, Taquan is talented, but there's a reason that he wasn't drafted, right? And you get more of these right than you get wrong when you don't draft somebody. I think he has the potential to become as good as the Ravens running backs that we currently have. I do not see a superstar in this Ravens running back group. The closest one is Ken Dixon, but again, there's a reason that Ken Dixon also dropped in the draft. I don't think Ken Dixon will ever be a superstar in the league, and I don't think Taquan Mizzell will ever be a superstar in the league. They can become good players. I think if you run a 3 running back, 2 running back, they can get on there and they can mix it up, but none of them will ever be Ezekiel Elliott. None of them will ever be a LaShawn McCoy or Todd Gurley. I just think that they're not that talented. Now, I could be surprised. I've been wrong before, but I just think that they're not there. And so Taquan Mizzell, while I do think that he'll get a chance to play while Kenneth Dixon is on suspension, I don't think that he has the skills to last longer than that. And I also don't think that he can be a great running back in the league. He can be a good running back and have a nice career, similar to a Justin Forsett, but he won't be a great all-star running back. I don't think any of the Ravens running backs have that ability. So thank you so much for your question, Rob. And that is the end of the episode for today. Let me know if you guys agree with me on anything. If you disagree, give me your opinion on each comment. So please comment below, like, share, try to get this RavensSpace Nation bigger, and subscribe to RavensSpace on YouTube because we give you the best Ravens content on the internet. Check out our Patreon page. If you guys help us, we will help you. Thank you guys so much for joining me today, and go Ravens.